You can change the height of this each building block if you wish, and the different shape of the tree if you want. Right in the heart of this open space between big buildings. Look at that. Again, look. Wow. Hello everyone. Thank you very much for coming back to my studio. In this video, I'd like to share with you how to draw an urban setting. It is a hypothetical urban setting based on an imagination, as always. And drawing is targeting those beginners who wish to draw the urban setting, who interested in urbanism proposal. It's not necessarily precise. With this one, I'm using the techniques of it's a fine line between axonometrics and isometrics, simply using the volumetric massing to set it up. I'm using creating a rectangular open space in between us to start to begin with as a central point. Suppose designing proposing an urban space or a new development as such, and doing the same techniques, applying the same technique as axonometrics, volumetric to begin with. Then finding the center point by drawing the crossing line to begin dividing them into half using the geometry method, how to defining space and space arrangements the simple way to create a kind of equal volume massing for the buildings, this hypothetical urban space. Like this. Divide them to half, cross the line, and just bearing in mind how I do the vertical line, because the perspective drawings vanishing point is not going to be compatible with this aerial views of the urban setting, so there is no central vanishing points to point at. So the vertical lines, it has to be parallel with one another because it's such a distance view. So now what I'm doing is divide them into half and a gap between each of these blocks to be a bit more realistic. Basically curve this one mass into separate massing, more kind of a massing separation, and the height are the same. A bit of the Le Corbusier kind of master planning for the urban setting, urban space. And because I'm trying to make it as simple as possible for those basic beginners interested in urbanism. So this drawing is about a grid basically. It's just like Manhattan in New York or Barcelona and those cities planning with the grid. Unlike the city of London, those are much more organic kind of urban setting, no grid apply. But for this drawing as this to begin with, it is It is important to start with the simplest possible. Then of course, once you're more into advanced drawing, uh, advanced understanding in terms of urban space, you can do whatever you like. So again, if you look properly, each one of these vertical line which extrude this massing to accentuate the form of these building blocks, hypothetical building blocks, are parallel. The vertical line are parallel with each other, because as I said again, there is no vanishing points apply on this building, these drawing techniques. So for now, I'm trying to create these, project those, extrude those vertical line downward. Will be below those multi-layers of line which I set up, and eventually those set line drawings that I set up this drawing with will be eventually disappearing. So the next one is to create the footing of each of these building blocks in relation to the ground and the open space. I give a bit, in a sense, give a bit of a place that people can, like a footpath basically. And of course, if you draw as an artist or as an architect, you have to draw things with three-dimensional mindset, or with things, not just draw, about the conscious awareness about the basic understanding of the space, the context of the surrounding, and how space is used, how the building is set on a certain space, and how it connected to the surrounding in terms of space arrangement, footpath, driveway, open space, and all that. These are the basic kind of urban setting drawing. And again, this drawing is not going to be the detail of the building per se, but more of the relationship of the urban setting in terms of building massing and the space surrounding and the setting that will, of course, like they said, good design has effect on the well-being of the dwellers, of the users, of the people. So what city is about. Good city design, good urban design affected the inhabitants, the dwellers, the city dwellers. If a good design give a positive impact on the well-being of the people, the users. A bad design, I don't need to emphasize, we know. So the idea of this is again about how to draw the urban setting, beginners, and to begin with, I start with each one of them, each block of this is the same height. And of course the next move is I'm going to create this kind of horizontal line in diagonal shape. Just divide this massing, building massing into half, because I'm going to create this kind of 4-story building. Hypothetically, 4-story building. These are the basic techniques. And after cut them to half, then divide them again into half. These volumes, that one again below, so that I can achieve 4 stories building blocks. Basically, the height is assuming this land is a flat land, flat without a contour. If it was a contour landscape, it would be a much more complex, complicated to draw. But when we have the basic of this, applying the flat landscape without any contour, and obviously the same techniques could be applied to any sort of a landscape or space. So these give the basic, a bit of a sense of understanding in terms of scale. Again, when you draw, it's always about having the three-dimensional awareness, a thought. So you don't just draw without deeper understanding in terms of space and how it's going to be used. So again, on this one, the hidden part here is going to be similar. Divide them to half. Of course, you see a lot of layers, multi-layers of drawing lines there, which when I set up this drawing with, but it is important to pay attention on that line that really matter, which trying to divide these building massing blocks into 4 stories. And now it's about adding the line to emphasize or to accentuate each of these building blocks. The roof, the flat roof. For now, it's just a rectangular shape without further detail in terms of roofing, and this is typical of urbanism drawings and the master planning as such. When master planners design a city planning or urban proposal, it's commit the volumetrics first, the massing first. Then each building will be delegated to designers or architects. Then they tuck it in with whatever shape and form they have, but within the footprint of that urban proposal drawings. So now I'm going to add a bit of a realistic, I would say, in that open space in between these buildings. These are the new trend or a must to have the greenery between the building blocks in a compact area or high density urban space. For the well-being of people, you need a bit of a green space in between, or like a breathing space if you like, or interacting place or playground for the children. So despite living in the highly compact or high density urban setting, having a bit of open space in between give a sense of a rural setting, rural space in urban setting. That is the idea, to create a better space, a living space in the urban setting. So anyway, the next move is I'm going to put a bit of a shading there to accentuate the exposed and enclosed in relation to the daylighting. So simply applying the vertical lines, simple vertical line overlapping the horizontal lines on the right side. That will bring this volume, this massing of building blocks to be much more visible, coming out of those multi-layers lines which I set up this drawing with. And of course, using the line drawing, monochrome drawing, I use applying the same black ink line as opposed to those using marker pen. You could use the marker pen, but in this exercise I'm using just the one in micron pen. The hatching is not necessarily, but to make more fun with my drawing, I like to add this more. In the ideal world, when you see the urban planners, designers, they don't really add this necessarily. They're simply using volumetric drawing, very sketchy. This is a sketchy drawing as well, but I like to have more fun into it and detail a bit of a detail in terms of shading it. Because if I just do sketch fine lines, I feel the sense of incomplete or too sketchy for drawing beginners. Now, as you can see, in between these building blocks, in the middle, there's open space. I simply draw the round spear shape to represent the trees. It's not necessarily detail of a tree, because in the real world this tree might be different shape, different height. It's just kind of a schematic or diagrammatic drawing proposal, and you can do whatever you like. For me, it's just simply the techniques how to draw the urban setting, the urban space using axonometric and isometric setting. And you can change the height of this each building block if you wish, and the different shape of the tree if you want. So I hope you enjoy this drawing of a urban space, and thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe and share. Thank you very much.